Hello, viewers. My name is Zack, and this is my review on the USW Hellfire pay-per-view from June 25th, 2017, which was originally taped on June 24th, 2017. Nailed it. So, okay, good. The microphone is working. As you can tell, I've been away for a little bit. Been up to a bit of interesting things. I'm in Waterbury for the week, so that is why all the videos that you see from this week, or all the videos that you do see from this week are going to be with, I guess, this background. Last night was the airing of USW Hellfire, and as we will obviously get to, it was a big moment to close the show. And I'm going to be a little bit egotistical or full-headed and say could have been one of the bigger moments of this year for USW. So, with that being said, remember to like the video if you enjoy it, and we're going to get into the review right now. So, USW Hellfire, there wasn't much that I knew about the pay-per-view going into. Much I knew about the storylines going into the pay-per-view. There were a total of about 8 matches on the card. Half, of course, were for a championship. So yeah, let's just get right into the pay-per-view matches, I guess, reviews and everything like that. So we got to the kickoff match. It was a non-title tag team match. It was between the Stargazers and Samuel North / Knack Justice. So this was, I guess, supposed to be kind of like a boost match for the Stargazers. It was kind of to launch them a little bit higher in the tag team division against North and Knack Justice, which I don't know if they're a tag team now or if this is just a one-time pairing. But, I mean, they performed well. It was a decent team. It wasn't anything special, but they were far more outshined by the Stargazers in terms of tag team mechanics and in terms of really just overall experience in tag team matches by the Stargazers. They were just completely and utterly outshined. The match was pretty good. It wasn't anything special, but it was something that you could sit down and watch and be able to bear. I'd give it 3 stars. I don't think it does much for either team. I like Samuel North more as a singles competitor. I like the Stargazers as kind of like that underdog tag team, even though they're more of a heel type team now. And Knack Justice I don't know enough about to be able to be interested in. So, either pairing him with Samuel North. Again, I'm sorry, guys. I am extremely tired this morning. But maybe that's why they're pairing Knack Justice with Samuel North, maybe to get that crowd intrigue up, or his stock up. But it didn't work for me tonight. The Stargazers won, and the match gets 3 stars. The match on the card was for the Blue Belt Championship. I know. The Blue Belt Championship is the first championship defended on the card. Wow. Philip Akron defends the title against Washington. This match was really good. Philip Akron, since winning the Blue Belt title, has been a much better performer than he was prior to winning it. He's been putting on some great matches. His mic skills have been through the roof. His promos have been amazing. And Washington has really found his stride with Philip Akron. The feud has been kind of underrated. I've looked back and I've seen what they've been doing, and now Washington's been pulling his weight around as well. Jesus Christ. Just this chair creaking. I'm sorry. He's been pulling his weight around with Philip Akron. He knows that this is kind of like a make or break type of, I guess you could kind of say, feud or rivalry or storyline. But he's been pulling his weight. He's been performing at his highest pace. He's been having some great matches, and this match was no different. I enjoyed the overall build and arc of the match. I thought it was very in tone with what both performers were extremely good at. And Philip Akron walks away with the win and retains the Blue Belt Championship. That match gets 3.5 stars. I was a fan of it, and I think there's some positive feed that can go forth in this feud. I think if it goes on a little bit longer, this feud can be a barnstormer. Barnstormer. I don't think that's a word. It could be a barn breaker, or all right, fine. It could be one of the better underrated matches in the promotion this year. The matches have been great. The promos have been great. I've been enjoying what they've been doing. Third match on the card was between Derek Carter and Tyreek Carver. Tyreek Carver, obviously the manager / enforcer of Philip Akron. He's kind of been helping him through the Blue Belt Championship reign. Those false finishes or those dirty finishes or cheat wins have been mostly in part due to interference from Tyreek Carver, which is why he was put into a match with Derek Carter on Sunday night instead of being able to be at ringside for Philip Akron versus Washington. Tyreek Carver, he's been a bit green, but this past night he was pretty good in the ring. He pulled his weight around. I think it more so has to do with the fact that he was in there with Derek Carter, who is a performer that can make anybody look good in a match. But aside from that, the match wasn't bad. It was bearable. It was more than bearable. It was enjoyable. There were some good spots in it, like the superplex from the top rope that Derek Carter hit on Tyreek Carver, which was kind of unexpected because you would have assumed it'd be the opposite way around. Carter obviously gives up maybe 40, 50 pounds over Carver, and it's just about as tall. But, you'd expect Carver to be the one delivering the move. So Carter delivering the move was a little bit of an interesting kind of twist on it. You had Carter's springboard. Can you really call it a springboard? Yeah, I guess you can call it a springboard from the inside of the ring, kind of like a diving crossbody onto the outside on the Carver. There were some great spots, or some good spots that turned out to be great moments for the match and possibly for Carver going forward. I'll give the match 3.5 stars because I thought it was very good and it was very enjoyable. And I thought there were a lot of positives to it. So, yeah. Tyreek Carver did beat Derek Carter clean, which I was a little bit surprised by because, wow. You kind of have to build Carter's stock up more. Ever since he lost the USW championship, he's been an amazing performer. He hasn't lost any stride, but a lost Carver clean, especially this early on in his run in the main roster, a little too early, I think, for Carter to lose clean to Carver. But nevertheless, 3.5 stars, very good match, and the clean win gives it another, a 3.5 star rating, maybe another half-star rating to make it 3.5 stars. Fourth match on the card was for the USW Tag Team Championships, and it was the shocker of the night. Jack Ramsey and Austin Cole defending against Andrew Morris and Andrew Palmer. This match was really fucking good. Morris and Palmer really broke through into a really good, I'm using the word really too often, into an extremely good tag team. I've been hearing rumors about their names, or about the tag team names that they're going to have going forward. Like Ramsey and Austin Cole are essentially just Jack Ramsey and Austin Cole, or Ramsey and Cole, not like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa being DIY, or Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards being the Wolves. They may just go with their regular names. I don't know. But whatever they do, it doesn't take away from their match tonight. This was probably the best match on the card. I don't think you could find a better match on this card. It was incredible from start to finish. Jack Ramsey and Austin Cole have been running roughshod over intensity in the tag team division for a couple of months now. They've been doing incredible. Their work has been off the charts. Their promos have been great, even though they're both, they're both somewhat lenient on the mic, and they're less of the typical, like, I'm going to talk as my character, but make it seem as, breaking the fourth wall as possible, as, like, my real self as possible. They go into full character mode, which is different because you don't see that in USW too often. But I like it. I kind of like it. So their promos have been really interesting, and their matches have been off the charts. You would expect this match to go in Ramsey and Cole's favor and have the feud end there. But no. Shocker of probably one of the biggest shockers in USW of the year, Andrew Morris and Andrew Palmer beat Jack Ramsey and Austin Cole to win the USW Tag Team Championships. I'm telling you right now, with Jack Ramsey and Austin Cole kind of replacing Ezra Kills and Benny Franklin as the tag team in USW, I didn't expect them to lose the tag team titles here, especially not to Andrew Morris and Andrew Palmer. I mean, halfway through the match, I thought, they could do it. But then I kept thinking to myself, wait, I mean, there's no way that USW would have known ahead of time that this would be the match that they'd put on. So there's really no reason to think that Andrew Morris and Andrew Palmer would actually win. Wow, that was fast. Holy shit, they actually did win. It was just as quick as that. The fall happened. Morris and Palmer pick up the win, and Ramsey and Cole are stunned. They're left in the middle of the ring wondering how the hell that happened. And Morris and Palmer are up at the top of the ramp with the titles, not even believing what they had just done, and pretty much went from a enhancement talent tag team from months ago to a big deal. Like, their promos have been awesome as well. They haven't been as different and as unique as Ramsey and Cole's have been, but they've been holding their weight in this feud as well. And I mean, I don't know really how they could have gotten away with being booked to win the titles if USW had known ahead of time that this would be the match that they put on, or this would be the type of match that they put on. I mean, unless USW already had the idea to book them as a strong tag team and to book them as card breakers and, as a dominant team on intensity, I wouldn't expect this to be the outcome of the match. But you know what? It's a big shocker. I would have given the match 4 stars without the shocker, but with the shocker, with the ending being what it was and being so stunning for a finish, I'm going to give it another half star. I'm going to go 4.5 stars with this match. It was extremely good. I even love the spot where you had Morris try to drop kick Jack Ramsey in the corner. He pulls himself up, and Morris missed, and then Andrew Palmer jumped off his back and drop kicked him off the top rope. Off the top turnbuckle and into the arms of Austin Cole, dropping them to the floor. I love that spot. I love some of the great spots that happened on this night. And, this was a big shocker. I can't say that enough. I can't stress that enough. I really enjoyed this match. And 4.5 stars. Probably the best match of the night. We get into the 5th match, and it is Dwayne Porter versus Cannon. Now, this is the kind of match that I would expect to go under the radar. Cannon has been kind of underutilized as of recently, and Dwayne Porter has been underutilized It's been criminal how underutilized he's been over the past couple of months. But nevertheless, Dwayne Porter and Cannon having an underrated match probably could have been match of the night had they been given a little bit more time. They were only given about maybe 12, 13 minutes, something like that. They were given, less time than most matches would be given, which makes me think that something's going to be booked from this from this point between Cannon and Dwayne Porter. But seeing how off and on Dwayne Porter has been utilized over the past couple of months and how wasted Cannon has been when it comes to booking over the past couple of months, I wouldn't expect too much. But this match was pretty good for what it was. The spot with Dwayne Porter going with the trying to hit the porthole and missing completely, and Cannon DDTing him straight onto his nose, and you've seen the burn on his nose, the mat burn from taking that DDT. I don't think it was supposed to happen that way. I think it was kind of a botch where he just dragged him on the mat. I think that was an accident, but still the spot looked interesting. Or at least, captivating. I enjoyed the match for what it was, which wasn't too much. It was bearable. It was more than bearable. It was enjoyable for someone who's looking for a quick match to kind of break in between. You got your hopes up from the last match. Now that you're writing down, this match will get you up for the next one. So yeah, Cannon and Porter, I'm going to give it 3 stars. It probably would have been a 3.5 star to 4-star match had it gone on longer, but I can't book USW's pay-per-views as much as I would like to sometimes. But so if it were me booking some kind of like this show for USW, I would have had Andrew Morris and Andrew Palmer go over. I mean, before the match, I probably would have had Ramsey and Cole go over. I would have had Derek Carter go over. I wouldn't have teamed North and Justice together at all. And Cannon and Porter, I would have given about 20 minutes to. But it was good for what it was. There were some good spots. Most of these matches just are memorable for spots, but yeah, moving on. It's hard to really talk about the Cannon and Porter match because they're so underutilized right now. It's like hard to care about. Like, you already know Cannon's been there for years. Porter's been there for years. You should be intrigued by it in the slightest, but I'm really not. If booking was better, I'd say, hey, this is a good, clean match for what it was. But it was really it seemed really just filler, and that kind of sucks. So I'll just move on to the next match, the 6th match. Red Belt Championship. Ash defends the title against Weiler. This match was good for the 20 minutes that it went on until the end. And for fuck's sake, if you want to turn Weiler into an over babyface, you cannot have the kind of finish that you had to this match. Okay? You already pulled it off once where you had Ash accidentally clobber the referee in the face, causing the DQ. Okay? You already pulled that card. But now when you have Ash intentionally the referee in the balls, below the belt, in the baby makers, point when you have 2 what is supposed to be intentional disqualifications in a row, now you're booking yourself into a corner. Okay? So, story of the match. Red Belt Championship is on the line. It was on the line a few weeks ago from what I was told. Between these 2, and Ash accidentally punched the referee in the face. He was blinded by a poke to the eye, accidentally punched the referee in the face, got himself disqualified, he kept the belt. So this was supposed to be the rematch. And the match was great. Weiler was doing top rope spots. Fucking Ash was doing springboard spots. They were both doing suicide dives. Fucking Weiler jumped onto the top of the turnbuckle and did almost a 450 onto Ash on the outside. The match was great. It was spectacular. But then the fucking end, you had Ash in a position where Weiler was going for the Y, and he moved out of the way, and Weiler ran into the corner, the opposite corner from where he was running. And then Cannon gets up, Ash goes for a DDT, Weiler throws him over, kind of like a back body drop. Yeah, well, it's kind of like a half back body drop, half just over drop, I guess. And he tries getting away from Weiler. It was a really sloppy kind of end. Tries getting away from Weiler, and then as he's running, he sees the referee, and it's pretty much a course of this. He's running back and forth, and then he goes, kicks him in the balls, and then runs out of the ring. That's it. That is the end of the match. Weiler runs into the corner. Ash escapes. Okay? Tries to DDT him, gets back body dropped, gets up, tries to escape Weiler, sees the referee, instinctively kicks him in the balls, and then jumps out of the ring and runs up the ramp. That is the ending of the match. So now you have Ash twice. Now, of course, they say it was an accident the first time, but the whole storyline showed that it was pretty much on purpose. So now you have two basically intentional disqualifications to keep the title. Now you book yourself into a corner. You already know that they want to book Weiler into a strong babyface, but you don't do it by having the crowd be sympathetic for him after losing a shot at the title twice via disqualification with two shitty fucking finishes. That's not how you book a face turn, okay? I get maybe they want to create some sort of hype going forward, maybe where you have these two guys and Ash, if he gets disqualified or counted out, or if he gets disqualified, he loses the title and then gets counted out or something like that. I don't fucking know what you want to do, but you'll find a way to do it, all right? And then you have, after that, you have this idea that, okay, Weiler is still not, okay, God damn, I'm sorry. This whole idea of Weiler being a baby face, but this is how they're booking it, is just fucking pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. You want to have the crowd be sympathetic to him, yet at the same time, a great match you're going to book that has a great match, you're going to book it into a fucking shitty-ass ending? Like, fucking come on. Whoever has been writing for USW has been doing so for at least 40 years now. You knew how to get me over as a face when I came into USW in 2013. You knew how to get James over as a babyface. You knew how to get Dwayne Porter over as a babyface. You knew how to get Dustin Raymond over as a heel. You knew how to get Anarchy over as a heel and as a babyface. You knew how to get Ash over as a face and as a heel. You knew how to get Alexander Rotten over. You knew how to get Lone Wolf over. You knew how to get Chris Ross over. You knew how to do all of these things. Prophecy over. You knew how to get all of these guys over. Get your stumble fucking over Weiler. Weiler is a great performer. He can go in the ring. His promos are fucking magic. Because you don't understand what the fuck he's saying. But it makes sense somehow. Why am I getting so mad over this? Okay. Listen, I know USW likes to do this kind of clusterfuck booking, but have it make sense in the overall. And I get that they see big things for Weiler as a face. He's been a heel since 2015 when he came up. And it's been almost 2 years as his heel run. He's done very little to nothing of note in his heel run. Perhaps a face run with this character would be just the kind of juice that the fans and the audience would be able to get behind him for. But when you have shitty booking like this, you have a great match between Weiler and Ash. some great spots. The crowd is getting on Weiler's side because of his performance. You don't pull shitty finishes twice in a row. Because now you book yourself into a corner. Well, it doesn't make sense for the next match to allow Ash to be disqualified and keep the title. So why, oh why, should anything else happen? It's because then you have a case of, well, Weiler has to beat Ash, but he can do so by disqualification and count out and take the title. That's not how you book a strong babyface champion. Even if you're going to have him lose in this feud and go on to do promising things as a face, that's not how you book it. Ash wins. No, I'm sorry. Weiler wins, but Ash retains via disqualification. And fuck, it's a really good match. I was going to give it 4.5 stars, but I'll give it 4 stars because the fucking ending ruined a big, big, big part of what could have been an amazing moment, you know, when it comes to the audience's reaction to Weiler. This match could have made him a star had they not been boneheaded in their booking. It's fucking sad. 7th match on the card was Alexander Rotten versus James. And this was an interesting match because it pitted a great technical wrestler against an amazing powerhouse. And I liked how Alexander Rotten, when he has roughly or nearly 100-pound advantage over James and maybe a 6 to 7 inch advantage over James, height advantage over James, you know by then it's like, okay, it's going to be kind of like a dodge and run scenario. So throughout the majority of the match, Alexander Rotten is just trying to use his strength. And Ash is trying to use his quickness. He's trying to use his agility. And he's usually getting Alexander Rotten down to a knee, putting him into a headlock, trying to take him down to the mat, gets him down to the mat, holds him there. It was a great technical match for the 18 to 19 minutes, I think it was, that it was given. And I enjoyed the match. Overall, James actually beat Alexander Rotten clean. Alexander Rotten, I believe the finish was he ran into the post and missed. He bounced off the post. James was in the opposite corner. He went to do the same again, jumps in, cracks his chin on the top turnbuckle post. James hits him with the midway, pins him 1, 2, 3. Right after the 3, Alexander Rotten kicks out. James already had 1, so he escapes the ring, knowing that he picked up the win. There's nothing more to prove, and he gets his arm raised again. So I liked that finish. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a nice start to what could be a great feud. And yeah, so that is going to get 4 stars because it was different from any other match on the card, and it was different from the kind of storytelling that you had gotten throughout the majority of the show. So I like that. 8th match was the main event of Hellfire for the USW Championship. Jesus Christ. Sorry. I cannot hear anything out of my ear. And I don't know what it is, but I tried using one of those, what do you call them? Like the cotton swabs on both ends, and I tried doing that, but one got stuck in my ear, so no, I can't get it out. I got close to it yesterday, but fucking burns in my ear. Morbid versus Ezrank Hills. Ezrank Hills defends the USW Championship against Morbid. This was the match that everybody expected to be the telltale sign that Ezrank Hills had made it to the main event spot. Hasn't happened yet. Sorry, Ezrank. You'll know why I'm saying sorry soon. The match was great. I really thought that as I was in the back and I was watching on the monitors, I thought this was an interesting underdog main event. What I kind of consider to be an underdog main event is a main event that nobody really expects to do much or expects to deliver much, but turns out to do more than anybody else thought and tends to be a decent to good to great main event match of a pay-per-view. Excuse me. So, Morbid and Ezra Kills, good match. Goes on for about 15 minutes until the end. There were some good spots. You had Ezra Kills with a springboard off of the second rope into a Hurricanrana, knocking Morbid into the corner, then bouncing off one corner and drop kicking him in the corner into the opposite corner. So that was an interesting, kind of speed and agility spot. You had Morbid go for the pile driver. When he puts him up in the air, Ezra Kills takes him down with another Hurricanrana, or at least a front rana, and then picks him up with a what would you call it? Would you? It was kind of like an abridging German suplex into a pin, which was kicked out of, and then he pulls over and does another German suplex. I don't know what you. It was an abridging German suplex followed by a follow through into another abridging suplex. That's how I would describe it. German suplex, and that was pretty much what really sealed Ezra Kills as a top face and a great choice for USW champion, because he pulled his own in a match against Morbid, which you don't see too often, probably because Morbid's not around too often, but at the same time because Morbid is such a great performer, it's hard to overshadow him. So for the most part, Ezra Kills was overshadowing him. But towards the final 5 minutes, Morbid took control. He was kind of slowly dissecting him. He was picking him apart. He was taking him down by the leg. And then he was starting to work on the arm. And then he pulls him up for one suplex and drops him head first. He looks for a suplex, but instead he uses a brainbuster. Goes for the pin, 1, 2, kick out. So now Morbid's like, all right, it's over. Gotta end it here. Calls for the pile driver. Goes to the corner. Goes to the prime position, kind of to take him up. Walks out of the corner. A man in a leather jacket and full face mask hits a knee strike to the bridge of Morbid's nose. What I'm very good at. And then hits him with a discus lariat. Bell is wrong. Morbid wins by disqualification. Mask figure gets a microphone, kneels down next to Morbid before slowly unmasking himself to be me. So I take off the mask, everybody sees, and it was kind of a mixed reaction. There were a lot of people cheering. It was a pretty good pop. It was a decent pop for what I thought I was going to get. I thought I was going to get less. I thought there had been enough time that had passed where it'd be like, oh, shit, he's actually back. And not like, oh, shit, he's actually back. I didn't think that the pop would be, or that they would remember me as much. Apparently they did. The reaction was mixed. There was the majority that went, oh, shit, he's back, and were screaming at the top of their lungs. Because, this is a big moment. And even if you didn't know me, then obviously somebody taking off a mask in the main event and everybody yelling, you would probably yell too, knowing that, what the circumstances are. Everybody else is yelling. I should be yelling too. So that was half the majority of the reaction. There was also other people that were trying to cheer something like he's back, or something like that, but couldn't really bear it or bellow it because there were other people trying to chant other things. So it sounded like a messed up flurry of different people chanting different words. So it sounded like all out garbage gibberish. But people went pretty fucking ballistic for it, and I was happy about that. So people knew me in fucking Hershey, Pennsylvania, which was fucking awesome. So I get a microphone, take off the mask. Everybody sees his name. Yelling, screaming, gibberish fucking chants. I just get in the microphone, I whisper. I shouldn't really duck down because then the camera cannot see me. I just pull his head up and I whisper, "See you Wednesday, buddy." I smile, drop the mic, pat him on the back, and drop his head back to the mat and leave the ring. And I walk up the entranceway and just do this. Just do that. And I overlook the entire crowd. And it was at that point where I was like, okay, I think I made the right decision coming back. And that's how the show ended. So I did have to get ready around 5 minutes before the end of the match, which is why when I was on the bus back and we all got our copies or our digital copies or downloads of the pay-per-view, that I was able to just watch it on the bus and I was able to look back and everything like that. Because usually when you're getting ready for a performance, you're not able to watch the entire show. So you kind of have to watch it back again if you're going to review it, if you're a part of it. And I liked how in the downloaded copy that I got, the crowd's gibberish chants, like when you try, people are trying to chant, I think he's back. I think they tried to chant Hardy. I think some were trying to chant Zack Hardy. I think some people were not chanting at all. But it was just a mixture of different people chanting. They edited that out. So all you heard was just a pop instead of a bunch of roaring from the crowd. So that I found that particularly funny. But I liked how they managed to edit it into a way where everybody just kind of screamed. So it was more of a pop instead of just a cluster bumblefuck of everybody yelling at me. So I liked that. And aside from that, that match I would give 3 stars. I would give it 3.5 stars had the ending not been a disqualification. But I'm going to give it 3 stars. Because I do have to be non-biased towards anything of my own. So yeah, that is Hellfire. What is the pay-per-view overall? 3.5 stars out of 5 stars. There was some really good wrestling matches. There was some really good spots. Hellfire delivered for the final Intensity pay-per-view before Warzone, which is pretty much like USW's version of the draft. Was it worth the, what was it? Was it worth the $20 to rent? If you want to be able to cap off a lot of the feuds that you had seen in recent weeks, and if you really wanted to see some good wrestling from the month of June 2017, then yeah. But aside from that, is it worth it to rent it just for the pay-per-view itself and to see it? Probably not. I would say unless you want to be able to relive some really good matches and you want to be able to relive the moment that I returned to USW. I mean, I like to relive the moments where like Seth Rollins cashes in at Money in the Bank, Cena returns at the Royal Rumble. I like to relive the moment CM Punk rode in on John Cena's Thug car at WrestleMania 23. WrestleMania 22, my bad. Aside from that, if you want to relive the moment I returned, or if you want to relive the matches that were really good for the most part, then I would say yes. But if you don't, then I'd say no. Which means would I pay another $5 to own it? No. I don't think it is worth it. I don't think it was a very special pay-per-view. I think it kind of delivered in some senses, and it didn't deliver in other senses. And it's definitely not on par with Call Greatness or Bulletproof. No, and it shouldn't be because it's a brand-exclusive pay-per-view, which shouldn't do that. But yeah, I don't think it's worth it just for those matches or for my return, unless you want to relive that over and over again. So that is my review on USW Hellfire. Let me know what you thought about the show in the comments below. I doubt you will, but nevertheless. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed more. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. I am Zack Hardy. I am signing off.